The only reason is poorly done, it's poorly planned, it's poorly. Yeah, which I told them is that we provided detailed analysis of options beyond what
A lot of those senior students,
that is.
a lot of those senior students
Coming from them, if they're saying that
because they got part of it.
I mean, this is maybe finding out yes,
I don't know.
or yes. The other thing, this is
Poorly laid out.
if we on something.
Yeah.
I mean, there are more questions in that. Okay, yeah.
All right, everyone, time's gotten away from us. We're up here waiting on everyone to arrive and to get here, and they have. Good morning. We've got a good group here today. Welcome to the Christmas edition of the Jefferson County Commission. Commissioners, we had a commission meeting on December the 2nd. That's a
$500 to yourself, sir.
yeah, $500 to me on that one.
Better turn.
That was a better turn yours down now. We had a meeting on December the 2nd. Is there any business that we need to transact relating to that particular meeting? Hearing none, that meeting is now adjourned. I'd like to call to order the meeting for December the 16th, which is the last meeting of the calendar year 2021. Mr. DeLaberto, would you call her up?
Commissioner Ammon.
Here.
Commissioner Knight.
Here.
Commissioner Scales.
Present.
Commissioner Tyson.
Good morning.
Commissioner Stevens.
I am here. Thank you very much. We have the invocation today, which is given by District 2, Reverend Richard Stryker. Is Brother Stryker here? Good morning. Please come and lead us in prayer, and let's let Shauna Smith lead us in the pledge. May we stand?
Well, let us pray. Almighty God, we thank you for this holy season to which you have given us. At a right time, our Lord came and visited with us. Thank you for Christmas. We thank you for the holidays. Thank you for this opportunity to gather as people of your community. Bless this meeting that will go on today of the commission. Lead with each one with creativity, positivity, with unity, and with hope, celebrating the previous year and looking forward to a new year. We pray all of this in God's name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioners, you were given the minutes to the December the 2nd meeting and our pre-commission meeting. I'm sure you've had a chance to review and go over those. Are there any additions, corrections, or revisions to those minutes?
Move we dispense of the reading of the minutes and adopt them as written.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. That presentation today, Administrative Clerk to the Board of Education, Deborah Green. What'd I say?
Education.
Education. What'd I say?
Education.
But he's a professor. He can make up words. You know, that's what they do. Yeah, no, he's.
I don't even know what I said now, so it don't make any difference. Come on up, Jeff.
I'd like to call up Miss Maria Knight, who is the chair.
Yes.
Now, Maria, what did I say?
You said Board of Education.
For real?
You said Board of Education.
I know better. Go
You
ahead.
do know Board. You
She's
do
so
know
honored.
It does say BOE.
I said,
This is the forgiving season, so we forgive you, Commissioner.
And plus, he was stuck on yesterday. Yesterday, he was giving out
That's
checks
right.
for
Yeah.
Board of Education.
Well, I'm very honored to make this presentation this morning. It speaks a lot about a person who endures for 30 years. Not only does it speak of her loyalty and dedication, it also speaks to the county as an employer. So the resolution reads, whereas it is the policy of the Jefferson County Commission to honor individuals who have immeasurably impacted our community for the better, and whereas it is indeed an honor to commend Deborah Green for 30 years of service to the Jefferson County Commission, and whereas Deborah Green joined Jefferson County on December the 9th, 1991, at Cooper Green Mercy Hospital as medical clerk in the emergency department, and whereas Deborah Green served Cooper Green Mercy Hospital in enrollment as medical clerk and administrative assistant 2 in material management, and whereas Deborah Green transferred in December 2014 to the Revenue Department and then the Office of Senior Citizen Services, and whereas Deborah Green has worked the last 6 years in the Board of Equalization and bet after the experience in all the above areas of the county, she can give us a little advice about all. And whereas Deborah Green is a proud mother of Patrick, Del Brito, and Dominique, and one grandson, Valen, and whereas Deborah Green's life would not be complete without her church, Greater Shiloh Missionary Baptist Church, and whereas Deborah Green is a dedicated and dependable employee and will be missed by all, however, the absence of her pound cakes will forever leave a longing for her return. And whereas Deborah Green is known as a genuine, kind person with integrity and always strives to excel in all her endeavors, and now therefore be it resolved that the Jefferson County Commission congratulates Deborah Green upon her retirement and expresses much appreciation for her 30 years of service to Jefferson County, adopted by the Jefferson County Commission in Birmingham, Alabama, on the 7th day of December 2021. And it is signed by the commissioners. Congratulations, Deborah. We also would like to present Deborah Green with a 30-year service pin.
Right. Deborah, you get 30 minutes now.
30 minutes. Good morning. I would like to thank Jefferson County Commission for giving me the opportunity to work 30 years of service here. I've truly enjoyed it. I had some fun times and gained a lot of experience and knowledge and met a lot of people. And thanks for the resolution and the 30-year opinion. I've truly enjoyed it, and thanks so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate your service.
Hey, Joe, ma'am, can you come on back? I do have a tendency to say this whenever we have someone retired. 30 years is a long time. I've been married 30 years, so that's a long time. But congratulations on the second half of your life.
Thank you.
And I hope that you will not find work. My grandfather was a bishop, and he used to say, I don't bother work, and work don't bother me. And he said that in retirement, so don't try to go and find something else to do. Michael Wesley is actually my cousin. And so it is a privilege for me to be able to bless one of his members in your farewell on today. But thank you. I haven't been here, obviously, 30 years. We've been here now 3 years for myself. But the county cannot do what it does except we have valuable people like yourself. And I know that Board of Equalization is a part of the state, but you all are housed here. And so when we have those different things to come up about property assessments and protests and all that kind of stuff, that's where you all come in at. So Ms. Knight has been very helpful, but she couldn't be who she is if she didn't have valuable people like you. So thank you so much for your commitment. Enjoy the second half of your life.
I will. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And who is your favorite commissioner?
Commissioner Knight.
Let's move this way a little bit. There we go.
Good with that? You good with that?
I can be comfortable, but not comfortable.
Yeah, yeah. All right, next we have, well, that took care of all of our crowd. I thought y'all were here to see us.
Oh, we had a big crowd.
Yeah, I thought we had a big crowd coming to see us on our Christmas thing. Where are the gifts at? Barnett, did you bring me my gift?
Less than $25.
Less than $25. Yeah.
You could have brought a Starbucks.
Next on the agenda, we have public hearings. These are, first is a public hearing to consider the adoption and approval of a funding agreement with the BJCC. This is our portion of the USFL agreement. At this time, I'd like to open a public hearing for a funding agreement with BJCC. Legal, do you have a better description of that, or will that suffice for the opening of the hearing?
Yeah, this is the agreement, Mr. President, between the county and the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center Authority for our commitment up to $500,000 to promote the NSFL.
USFL.
No, it's actually the NSFL is the parent company of the USFL. And this is the agreement that we're committing our portion to the BJCC in order to effectuate this total agreement between all the parties.
I'd like to open a public hearing at this time. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in favor of or in opposition to this particular item? This is a good thing, and it's wrapping the bow on a gift for the economic development city of Birmingham and Jefferson County that will reap benefits for years to come. Seeing no comments, this public hearing is now closed.
Move the item.
Second.
Items been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Next, we have a public hearing authorizing adoption and approval of a project agreement between Jefferson County and Harbison Walker.
This is a job incentive agreement with Harbison Walker, which is located in Fairfield. They were there at one point in time. They've come back and adding more life and vitality to Fairfield by adding 50 jobs and a $24 million capital investment in that area of the county and in the city of Fairfield. To follow this, there is a 9G abatement to support the city of Fairfield that we have to pass to support a 10-year statutory abatement that we have to do because of the type of incentive it is. But all of this is good news, not only for Fairfield, which they have to approve at their next council meeting, So this is, I think, good all the way around.
With that being said, I'd like to open a public hearing and resolution authorizing adoption and approval of this project agreement between Jefferson County and Harbison Walker. Is there anyone in the audience speaking in favor of or in opposition to this particular item? Seeing none, the public hearing is closed.
Move the item.
Second.
Item's been moved and seconded by our economic development chairs. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very
Mr.
much.
President, I'd like to recognize Jason with Harbison Walker and also Alex Patrick with the BBA here to support, just in case there were any questions. So told them they could exit quickly if they wanted to. After
Yeah, that's pretty smart. When you're on the winning side, you don't have to say anything, do you?
Good thing, Chris.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. On behalf of Harbison Walker, we look
You wanna
forward
say?
to
Commissioner Scales would like to address you, gentlemen.
If you can continue to stand, you're so kind. You too, sir, because it takes all of us, right? So I want to say to you, as the commissioner for the district, we've been doing a lot of work in partnership with the city of Fairfield, and so we welcome this opportunity and any support that, as a commission, by way of my office, that can support. Matter of fact, I'm going to make sure that Prem, if you make sure we get his number and so forth, we're going to stay in contact with you. This is a shot in the arm for the city of Fairfield, because we know that they are primed for good real estate. All we've got to do is just, continue to present itself. So when you made that decision to make sure that you all remain there in the city, we really, really appreciate it. So I wanted to let you know that, and thank you, sir, for your role in making this happen. You got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, next on the agenda is our resolutions. There were 54 resolutions that were considered and properly vetted in our Tuesday pre-commission meeting. I know that there's one or two that's going to need to be pulled for further discussion and consideration. There was one that I was asking about, and I don't know that we ever got it. The resolution authorizing the Cooper Green.
What numbers?
That's what I'm looking for right now. I know what it was, but
Theo sent it. Hey, Theo.
Theo, did you send that?
He did.
Yeah, he sent it.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
You talking about in terms of when it's sunset?
Right. When it's sunsetting. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, the 10 years, yeah. Number
10
17.
years, yeah.
Number 17.
Yeah, number 17 was the open agreement, purchase option agreement. Number 18 is the one I think that we're going to ask to be pulled for separate consideration. Chair will entertain a motion on the remaining resolutions. Is there any other
I did have
resolution?
one question, Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
On item 17, and it's more for clarification, Mr. Attorney, as it relates to the market value for item number 17, will that be brought back before the commission before this is completely done?
It doesn't have to be. We have to get that valuation.
Okay, as long as it come back before us. Okay. Move the items as presented.
1 through 54 with the
With the
exclusion of 18?
Yes.
Is that it? We have a motion.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. The next, do we have sheriff representative? Did I see Wayne come in? Okay, Wayne. Next, we have the sheriff has made a request for Lucas CPR life-saving devices.
That's right.
And there were certain things that the widow Bryan that it was asked that we had a particular clarification of.
That's right. And we have done some more analysis on that, of course, since Tuesday. Although I'm going to admit my mom got admitted to the hospital last night, so I got pulled away from it for a little while. But anyway, in looking at 2 CFR 200, what Justin sent to us, and our thought is that we can go forward with this under the American Rescue Plan as long as there's full consideration on whether these are needed. And the sheriff's office has done a pretty good analysis. We gave y'all some of the stuff on Tuesday that we think we need 123. And to let everybody know, it's 7 for 7 additional schools that wouldn't have them yet. It's 13 for the jail, and it's 103 for various patrol cars that are in the more rural parts of the county. Now, I understand there was some consideration for some additional devices that might be needed in some senior centers, some that might be needed in some volunteer fire department areas. And ultimately, Mr. President, there needs to be a thorough analysis of exactly what is needed, but we also all know that the prices on these devices are going up by 7% before the commission will meet again. And we've done a good analysis on what we think the sheriff's office needs. We think we need 123. The additional ones that we understand it's about, maybe another 40, maybe another 50. Ultimately, our ultimate recommendation is to purchase 140 of these devices now, because we know we need at least 123, and then do a further analysis of exactly how they're going to be deployed, exactly which patrol cars they'll be placed in, exactly which volunteer fire departments need them, exactly which senior centers need them, and go ahead and purchase a total of 140 of them now. It'll save the county money because we know we need them. We know they can be used for public health and safety under the American Rescue Plan. And so the ultimate ask is that we purchase 140 now, knowing that we might need a few more in the future. They'll be available. They'll just cost more in the future.
One of the things that I read the Widow O'Brien explanation and questions that they had, and I agree with you. We do need these Lucas devices, because if they save one life, they're doing the job.
Absolutely, and we know they do. We know they've saved hundreds of lives.
And if this commission gives the votes to approve, it would have to be subject to a further and deeper analysis from Widow O'Brien.
Fully agree with that.
There's no way that we would be able to do that. And we have our 2 buckets of funds here.
Right.
That and one is $6 million, and I'm not comfortable utilizing that fund, which would take nearly half of the funds available to that.
Right.
For this one thing.
Totally understand.
So I want to be perfectly transparent with you on that. We understand what we're doing, and this commission is going to act in some fashion today.
Right.
But with the understanding, when you do your justification, it needs to be to that larger bucket of funds, not the $6 million. It's probably the easier path. But then it restricts us on other things.
I agree with that.
The commission, we have fire districts out there that need rescue vehicles.
Sure.
And things like that.
Right.
And will go in those rescue vehicles, which is part of it. But we've had a difficult time getting that through the process also. Right. And it's easier, and then I'm going to be quiet. It's easier when the sheriff brings something in, because it just requires an up-down vote.
Right.
Ours has to go through the entire process to get it approved and then turn around and come back.
Absolutely.
So that's something that we will look at in the very near future.
And we're happy to be very involved in that process and giving a specific justification on the ones that we need, where those patrol cars will be. And we've already been working on that. We had, as you folks know, we talked about on Tuesday, our patrol captains and lieutenants have analyzed, and just for everybody's information who didn't hear Tuesday, we have 220 patrol cars that are throughout the county. We're asking for 103, not for 220, because some of those patrol areas don't really need the Lucas devices because they're close to hospitals, they're close to places, they patrol around areas where police departments, fire departments have the Lucas devices. We're talking about using them in rural areas where other folks won't have them. And we believe that that'll give a full justification to not have to use that $6 million. I totally understand that, Mr. President. It makes a lot more sense to use this for the public health and safety provision of the American Rescue Plan, not for the sort of catch-all.
Did you also reallocate to the jail?
We did.
Okay.
We did.
Are they in the jail?
They are not yet, but they're on the way. They're on the way. They'll be there.
I don't think a real thorough analysis has been done. I really don't. This came up Tuesday with a number of 250, and now we're down to 123. We dispersed Lucas devices 138
Right.
Under CARES Act.
Right.
You guys got 50.
That's right.
And do we know where the other 88 went? No. And that's what's got to be, some of your sheriff's cars don't need a Lucas device in it if they're in a fire district that's going to have a rapid response, and they're going to have Lucas devices.
Right.
I understand out in the rural areas. So how are you saying you need 103 more?
123
More than the 50?
123 more than the 50. So the 50 have been deployed to schools. And that's y'all know we have 57 school resource officers. So those 50 were, originally they were taken, and just to explain to the commission they were originally had to be, of necessity, were taken to the Sheriff's Academy. So everyone could train on how to use them.
All of them?
All of them were taken to the Sheriff's Academy.
Are the boxes opened?
The boxes are open. They were used for training. Our deputies have been trained on them now. We've been training the new folks on them. Those 50, the ultimate plan would be for us to, there we go. And Commissioner Knight, I do have a list of where the other devices were sent if you need it. They were basically.
That would have been good to have.
Because those were, only 50 were to us, the rest were sent to fire districts.
Because we have identified some volunteer fire departments that didn't get them on the first round.
That's right.
So,
and we need to get those to them. But so
we're going to.
So the ultimate plan would be the 50 that we already have will go into 50 of the 57 schools that we have SROs in. So we would need 7 more to have one in each school.
Do we need them in each school?
We think we do. I mean,
based on what?
Based on the fact that our SROs are the only emergency responders in those facilities.
Are these pediatric machines?
I don't know that, Mr. Steele. Okay, they are. Thank you, Ms. Bellin.
But at the same time, are those schools in fire districts or close to fire districts that already have one? I mean, that's to Joe's point and to Jimmy's point.
Sure.
There needs to be an analysis. I know the value. The value's there, absolutely, 100%. Sure. But that's why that detailed analysis has to be done.
Right.
And I'd add one other thing, if you don't mind, that this is one-time money. And what did you say the lifespan on these are?
5 years.
5 years. So in 5 years, are we going to have all these jurisdictions that we put these out in? Are they going to come back and say, okay, it's time to renew, and this is one-time money we spent? So where does that money? They're going to expect us to do it. It's going to have to come out of general fund if we can. Otherwise, it has to be written into each one of the agreements when they accept them to say, hey, you understand this is one-time money. Please don't come back because it's. I don't think our general fund can. If we have to, what would it be overall? Say it's 250. You're talking about $6 million. That's a massive amount of money for.
Right.
But again, I see there's a huge value and a huge.
Right.
So
yes, I'm sorry.
I was about to say, let me do say this. A part of your analysis too, I would like for the commission, because this has happened at one of my schools, in terms of even though you may have a hospital that is in the area, if you have athletes who are in need of being resuscitated or any of that, that has happened at one of my schools. Right. That's a matter of life and death.
Right.
Every second counts. If you already have access to this equipment, it makes a difference. So I'd like to see that a part of your analysis too, in terms of if you have, as relates to the schools, and those schools, even though they are within a certain area, but what is it in terms of if we have a child that may need to be resuscitated for whatever the reason may be. But I know athletics is a prime example.
Exactly.
I also want, as we move forward on this, I understood with the 5-year agreement also came with the maintenance of that product
That's
for
right.
5 years.
That's right.
If Theo, is that something that based upon Ammon's and what he's saying, which I agree, that if once that 5 years sunset or expire, that we can make sure that as we are distributing these devices, that there is a clear understanding between the county, meaning the commission, and the entity that is receiving this device, that they know what the terms are and upon acceptance.
That's easy to understand that this is a one-time situation again. I think the issue was where they would be after that time. But to the point that Widow O'Brien is kind of said, and where the look at this would be is that understanding that there's a shortage of emergency medical services and a shortage of the potential for ambulances and those people to get there. And the COVID nexus seems to be that we understand from the research that you all have done preliminarily that you've got a shortage of EMTs, both from the standpoint of those folks going to schools because schools were affected by that, and also the fact that those people went to other areas to do that. So to the extent that's kind of been recognized from a county standpoint, the fact that you're able to potentially provide those as a stopgap as a result of COVID there is kind of where you're looking in terms of your analysis is how this would affect what has happened as a result of COVID, not necessarily places, but the analysis would be what this would do as a result of the effects that COVID had on the medical profession. And so in terms of what may happen in 5 years, at that point, there may be enough paramedics and those folks that can have a more proper response where at the end of 5 years that doesn't become necessary. But to answer your question, this would not be something that would be a continuous request. As I understand, this would be a one-time situation, so that the providing of these would be for the period.
And
There's always perception.
A one-time.
There's always the perception.
Correct.
Always.
This is in response to the COVID crisis.
That's right.
These monies are available for cause of the COVID crisis.
Exactly.
And it's created a disparity in the ability to have EMS personnel
Very much so.
on site. And this is putting Lucas devices in patrol cars to help alleviate that crisis.
In those
Very much
areas
so.
that they're needed.
That's, if I can mention, in the regulations and in the Widow Brown's memo, it mentions very specifically that rural areas, hard to get to areas, are to be given special consideration for this money, and that's what we're doing.
And so let me say this, Mr. President, being that we do recognize about how this came about, the COVID dollars, and obviously we know that you got Omicron that's coming in, and and it affects your respiratory system. So that's why they're needed. My point is that once we get where we are attempting to go, I just think as the commission would want you all to come back and to let us know. That will help with you in your question, Joe, as it relates to where these devices are being distributed.
Absolutely.
I think that's nothing more than fair.
Absolutely.
That we know exactly where they go. And so our constituents, we can make them aware that those devices are accessible to them, especially in these areas. I was just sharing with the president about, a young lady out there in Fairfield. And anyway, we know that the commission president has been trying to work in terms of ambulatory services and how the commission needs to proceed in that regard. So I think that the commission has been extremely responsible with trying to use these dollars in a very resourceful manner.
Very much
trying
so.
to be very cognizant that we do know that these dollars are not here forever. And we do recognize at the end of the day that some of those things that we would have to depend on in the general fund, this would help us in that regard. So that's the only ask that I would have, is that when these devices, should the commission vote in favor of this item, that we do at least get some kind of listing I'm looking forward to your additional analysis, right?
Absolutely.
We can beat a dead horse with analysis,
Right.
doing overly analysis, but we do want to at least have some
Absolutely.
that is factual, right?
Right.
Okay, and then after that, we just need to know where they're going to be distributed.
Absolutely, and obviously the sheriff's office will commit to do that once the devices are delivered. I'll be happy to come back and report to the commission where they were deployed, how they were deployed, and of course give you an idea of how they've been used,
That would
because
be
that's the
greatly
most important.
appreciated.
I think that'd probably be a part of the study that we would get before anything happened.
Right.
Yeah.
As far as where they can
Before
run.
doing it.
And one more thing, we have a national consultant that's engaged now.
Right.
For the EMS services, and I'm glad that you referenced that. It may alter the final deployment of these, and really the total number that will be needed.
Absolutely.
Sure. So what we need to do, if we need to have some of these in queue, ready to go,
Right.
it's important that we do have a holistic approach and to make sure that this fit study is covered with it,
Right.
and that these are truly where they need to be. Fish was Widow Bryan was very clear
Right.
with what they needed,
Right.
and this commission will adhere to what these requirements were.
Sure.
And I know you will too.
Absolutely.
So what we need to do is determine a quantity, and we need to be realistic with that,
Right.
and be very judicious with the understanding that if we are a little low, we can add to it,
That's right.
but we do not want to have any sitting on a shelf anywhere.
Right.
Excess.
That's right.
So,
Well,
anything, Joe? Commissioner Knight, you can quiet.
we are advised that the document the need as part of the due diligence prior to consummating the purchase of these units. I understand the price goes up, but Lucas devices don't disappear after
That's true.
January 1st. We need to know where we need them.
Right.
And who's got them,
Right.
and are they trained to use them? I don't have any. I've done CPR on many people over my years. This is a good thing. In the situation where you have to have a transfer while you're resuscitating, or you're there alone for a long period of time. I get it. I would sympathize with the deputy out there trying to keep somebody alive to help the pain.
Right.
You have to identify where those places are most likely. And I don't think throwing this big number out now is the answer. Another question I have, Mr. Attorney. We have 4 buckets under the interim rules for ARPA. This funds that we expend today would come out of the lost revenue category. Is that correct?
I asked that it not come out of that.
No, that I think
Well,
that's to be determined. Right.
I think that the first thing that's going to happen is once that analysis is done, you make that determination.
The funding source.
I think initially, the analysis here was just based on the sheriff's office, and I don't think it was done in conjunction with the fact that we have this global county issue with emergency response there. And I think that there's subject to our further advice from Will O'Brien as it relates to providing medical care as a result of moving forward from COVID. In this situation, it may be where it covers, but I think that's to be determined after you go through the rest of your analysis. Well, since we bought them under CARES, I think that adds another element to what, in the time frame for the purchase of them. So, but understanding that there were 2 different circumstances at the time that the purchase was made, and that's why there's another analysis, because at the time that they were done with CARES, those were for situations where you did not want to have a direct touching, there was not any kind of vaccine or other measures to deal with
totally different guidelines from Treasury.
Right, it's a different situation. Right.
And for a different purpose.
Right, and in this case, this analysis would be a combination of what you know to be the case with the efficiency in the medical response, with the ambulances, where you know that a deputy is going to respond to every wreck, but not necessarily the case when you have the medical stuff. So it's a different analysis that has to be done.
To be in the not use the lost revenue category, to use the other category, we got to show a clear nexus to COVID, which is different than CARES Act.
Right.
Freeze and CARES Act, this is a lot different. And that's the deal said. It can be done, but it's going to require a lot of analysis. And you got to compare, well, if we bought 100 for the sheriff, what if we bought 50? What's the difference in weighing the cost versus the actual benefit, and make sure all that's documented so that when we get audited, and I'd also like to point out, if we put them in the sheriff's cars, we kind of have to follow up to make sure they are staying in the rural areas. In other words, if we document the need is to cover this area.
Got to stay in those beats.
2-3 years later, we got to show, be prepared to show, yeah, they're there and they're doing what we documented.
If I may, sir.
Please.
So I got two. One, the Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Office actually has where they have Suburbans, but they have a deputy and a paramedic in one unit, or they have one that's dual. I think that would be an awesome opportunity for the rural areas, besides the Lucas devices, to be able to provide that kind of service. That may be jumping the gun on the ambulance side, but it's still something. If we're able to spend, this type of money on something like that, it may be something that you want to look at in response, maybe short term, or work with Chris and Commissioner Stevens' office. If we were to do something, would we have to, if it was a not to exceed amount and there were stipulations on the analysis has to be done, do we have to specify a specific number? Would be my question.
I think that's the ask due to the price increase. So here's my question. As 123, what was the latest number?
140 would include those that have been, the numbers that we got from Chris with regard to the.
What if we did 100?
Yeah,
until you got some kind of analysis.
This analysis.
Commissioner Knight, I believe we could easily justify 100 as under Mr. Lawson's stipulation. I believe we could easily justify 100. I think we can justify more than that, but I think we can easily justify 100.
So hold on, Mr.
Can I make? Go ahead. I'm sorry. You had something. She said wanted to say something too.
Well, so I'm saying, what? Then if
That's what.
you got a first and a second, but what I'm saying, well, hold on, Mr.
Yeah,
President.
discuss.
I'm saying, right. So you had something that you wanted to add, Commissioner Tyson?
100.
Okay. So, Mr. President, I want to speak to the motion. Okay. So I want to be clear, and this is where Cal and the county attorney comes in at. So we get this 100, we do this analysis for 100. Then we are understanding today. I'm trying to let them talk because it's them that I need to get to, and I know they're trying to get it together. No, I wouldn't. I didn't want to
question.
Yeah,
we were being respectful of you.
Yeah, well, I wanted to speak to the motion, right? And because I'm really concerned, particularly in these rural areas, and some of them are even rural. When you're talking about Fairfield and Brighton and Lipscomb and some of these other cities that I know are very critical. And probably I know some of in the commission president's area. My question would be, if this item were to pass as the motion has been stated, then are we now saying that once further analysis, justifications of this spending comes, that because I'm gonna be very candid with you, Mr. President, I don't want to just see them in patrol cars. I am concerned that if we know we're struggling with ambulatory services, that we're not looking for a deputy to provide this kind of care. So I want to be very clear where I'm coming from in terms of, is that going to address that with this current motion that's on the floor?
I think with the analysis, if the analysis comes back that you need 120, then we can always buy 20 more.
Right. Correct.
Or 50.
The amount is not my question. What I'm saying is I want to make sure, so we're clear,
Right.
that I'm not talking about a deputy going to Fairfield to help save a life. I'm talking about we have ambulatory issues in Jefferson County. Would this current scenario address those ambulatory deficiencies that we have in the county?
And I think that, I think if I understand the question correctly, there's a separate track and a separate analysis that's being looked at in terms of the complete emergency medical care shortage and issues that the county faces. But in the meantime, we still have situations where, until that is rectified, you still have the potential life issues where somebody would need some type of response. So this would not be the answer to the shortage of paramedics and ambulance services in the county. But what it certainly does right now is it's a gap in between that we know is a response where people need help in those areas where you can provide it.
That's exactly right. And what it does is it adds a tool to the deputy's toolbox for one particular issue. If they need CPR, it will form that life gap.
Right.
That will close until that extended EMS service can get there.
Right.
It may, where normally an EMS service will be 10, 15 minutes. It may be 45 minutes, it may be an hour and a half. And what this will do, this will sustain that life till that EMS can get there. And this is strictly caused from the COVID.
Right.
Is what my understanding is. But it does require, Wayne, it's going to require that further analysis and approval from Whit O'Brien before these dollars can be.
Absolutely. And Commissioners, I will commit that the Sheriff's Office will work with the County Manager's Office, the County Attorney's Office, the Rural Health System, anybody we need to. We're not going to hog all 100 of them, Commissioner. That's what we're saying. We want to do the best for the county.
Okay.
Y'all, like I said the other day, we're interested in keeping the county safe. That's our job.
So this is what I'm saying. Again, speaking only to the motion that's on the floor. That's why I'm trying to get a clarification, especially being that, for example, we have a deputy called in Fairfield for a child who's unresponsive to a drug overdose. Right. This product or this device could have been a part of that, but thankfully you had a young deputy that could keep working on this child for, I think, 30 minutes or whatever the case may be.
It was.
Here's what I'm trying to make sure that I'm clear on. If what is being approved is only going into those sheriff's deputies' cars, I'm telling you up front, I do have a concern for that, because I've had several instances in my district, in Commission 1, where ambulatory services are a strain on that city. And it's a life or death situation.
Absolutely.
So I'm making sure that the commissioners understand where I'm coming from, is that it's not just going in deputies' cars only, that it's going to be some kind of mechanism in place that we will have them available outside of just the sheriff's office. Some fire district or something needs to have them. Because, that's a matter of life and death. So that's why I wanted to make sure.
Agree,
I don't know if that's
Can
more
I-
toward you as much as it is.
Can I offer a substitute motion to kind of to what you're
Please.
saying? Is that okay?
All
That
right.
may
I'm
alleviate.
sorry.
That the motion would be that the commission considers 100 Lucas devices that would be dependent on the analysis of a detailed analysis on region, beat, and need
and that analysis be approved by Witt O'Brien, not to exceed 100, and it must come back to the commission the analysis must come back to the commission for a final vote.
As to the distribution of it.
Correct.
Okay.
To verify the analysis that the county manager's office, along with Witt O'Brien, must bring that back to us for approval. This is basically to lock in the amount and the dollar amount per device, so we don't go over the.
Then Commissioner, you don't. Then you,
100 will stop us from purchasing any more, wouldn't it?
No.
It won't?
But if we're
Just on this
committing to
contract?
if we're committing to 100, we're buying 100.
Okay, that's what I need.
Right.
We may need to.
I
have
don't think we
response.
can wait on an analysis.
Well, we have no idea what bucket of money that it could come out of.
yeah, well, but there are.
I mean, that's why the analysis was to be done to begin with,
Well,
is to make sure
Mr.
that
President?
we could validate which bucket of money it would come out
And
of.
we need to stay on this motion now. You've
Well, that's-
offered to substitute, let's clear it up first, then we can talk.
Okay.
You made the motion, and you seconded. Do you withdraw your motion?
No, you made the motion, and
I
Tyson
can't
and
make the
seconded.
motion. I said, the chair will entertain the motion.
Okay.
I made the original motion.
You made the
You
motion,
made-
and then, so then you can withdraw it then.
And then he.
And then he has a
I'm going
substitute, and
off
the
the
substitute
substitute.
goes before the main
But
motion.
I'm not sure what the.
Because I think we need to be looking at a alternative funding source, and then we can be done with this altogether.
This is, something that we need to address.
Let me-
We do.
Just
Do you
point
want
it-
to withdraw?
All right, is your motion, your substitute motion dependent upon the analysis first before purchase?
Correct.
Yeah, but see,
But then that,
That
Yeah,
may
that
not,
leaves you
the
hanging.
manufacturer may not be able to do that. I'm not sure.
yeah.
See, we don't,
No.
I mean, without the detailed analysis.
So, Mr. President, we
have
need to go
have
back to the
proof-
original
We have to have
motion.
proof to know that it's valid. Witt O'Brien's comment on their report says,
You-
it's advised that the county thoroughly
Go back
document
to your
the need as a part of the due diligence. And so that's what I would ask for, is the
is
need.
people dying. Reverend Battle died in Brighton.
I'm regurgitating what they said.
All
4
right,
weeks ago.
everyone, that's hope. Well, I understand the need and understand where we are, but we need to.
So it fails for lack of a
keep it
second,
before.
Mr. President, so you can go back to your original motion.
All right. The original motion was, Commissioner Knight, would you repeat that, please?
we'll purchase up to 100 now, but that's dependent on the sheriff's department taking the 138 that's already out there and the additional 100, so now we got 238. We need to know where they are and what the needs are, if any, to.
To be clear, Commissioner, we only know where 50 of them are. The other 88 went to other folks.
Well, I understand,
we
but
have a list where we
you're
think
taking
they
it upon
went.
yourself to
Right.
provide us. Somebody's got to.
I think our commitment will be to work with the county attorney and the county manager to do exactly what you just asked.
Yeah, those are.
Commissioner.
Hey. Yes, sir. No, you can't. Sit down.
Hey, Commissioner.
Sorry, Commissioner.
Joe, you have a
So,
motion?
yeah, he has a motion, and
we have
and
a
I,
second.
right.
We have a second. We'll take care of the other at due time.
So, Mr. President, so that we clean that motion up, if you don't mind, Joe.
It's the same motion he
Is
made.
that the commission will purchase the
an additional
100 to be added for a total of 238, with the understanding pending the analysis to be provided by the sheriff's department.
Can I ask a
Is
question?
was that your
Not
motion?
stopping.
Just to determine
I'm
the
saying, is that your motion?
bucket of money
I'm
that
on
it will
second.
come out of.
Yeah. And the
No,
bucket
I-
of money that it will come out of, we need to determine that.
And
Yeah,
the funding
I
source.
would just say, the analysis and all the work we got to do is required by the federal government to spend the ARPA money. You could purchase them with general fund money now, and we think you could reimburse it with ARPA money. We haven't got that certified in writing yet.
I don't want to think or.
So that's
maybe.
the problem is getting the analysis, and we'd just be taking a chance
At the
to
last
get it
minute.
with ARPA money.
We're at the last minute. That's the problem. This should have all been done before the ask.
You got a motion on the floor, Commissioner Knight.
Yeah, we got a motion to buy 100 today.
And I got, no, I
A
second it.
motion and a second.
It
Last-
was almost 1.8 million
Yeah.
for 100 devices.
All right, have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
I'm
opposed?
gonna be opposed. Mostly
opposed.
because we don't have, it's not thorough enough. I'm all for the devices. This is just putting the cart before the horse.
Understood.
All right, everyone,
Thank you, Mr. President.
the heart is, thank you. We understand the need. It's just there's so many restrictions that are involved with these dollars that if it was up to us in our hearts, it would be done day before yesterday. But it's much more difficult when we're dealing with these federal funds, and we appreciate everyone and the due diligence that we had and the input that all commissioners made.
It's valuable, everyone.
Everyone, it is
Yeah.
valuable. Commissioner Knight, would you like to?
I want to know when, I want to know when the Lucas devices will be on every floor in the jail.
Yes, Mr. Commissioner, I will personally call you back.
Matter of fact, you know what I think, Mr. Rogers, would be beneficial for the commission is that if you do it prior to our next committee meeting, if you would then be prepared for our next committee meeting, 1st of January.
Absolutely.
To
January
give
4th.
us an update in terms of, yes, sir, provide us an update in terms of the location of where these devices are. I think that it would show that you all have been forward-thinking and responsible for what the commission is trying to attempt to do, not only in the jails, but also in our various communities that are in Jefferson County. I think that that's going to say and do a lot.
Absolutely, Commissioner.
Make sure the rural areas like Lipscomb and Brighton get
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, they're trying to meet
We
that.
did bring a Lucas device for a demo if you guys are interested, but I don't know if y'all have time. Mr. Steele can hang around. If y'all would like a demonstration of it, we'll be happy to do that for
The
you.
same one that we had last time, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Closing the meeting, adds any other thing, County Manager?
If I may, Commissioner, I wanted to recognize an employee who has been poached, a director, and real quick.
I think she left.
I think she had a meeting at 10. But Derek Berger has been the Director of Development Services for a couple years and done a fantastic job with getting through COVID and handling, changing how we do our permits from people coming up here, trying to park, go in there and get the plans in. And they worked really hard. And she has been hired away from us by another agency. But I just wanted to present her with a certificate of appreciation and let her know we appreciated the work she did.
Be great. While we wait on that, do you have anything, Theo? Theo still down?
Take it off. Everybody take it off. Oh, there he is.
You moved down there.
Moved.
Don't go changing.
Commissioners, I think she
Again,
had
we
a-
appreciate all of our employees and those that make our job easier and furnish our checks and balances because we have to think with our heads and our hearts to make sure that all of our citizens are served and to administer these dollars in an appropriate manner. We appreciate that. And I think there she comes. Wow.
Almost got away with it.
As I said, Commissioners, Derek worked extremely hard through COVID and very difficult circumstances with a lack of staff and really performed some miracles to get our permitting situation the way it is. And somebody else has recognized that and came and hired her away. So, Derek, we just wanted to tell you thank you for your service and your work and appreciate how you helped us improve Jefferson County, and we got this certificate of appreciation.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
All right.
Congratulations, Derek.
I appreciate this very much, but in the end, I'm just, thank you, one person. So If you're recognizing me, you're really recognizing everybody in that department. I just provide the vision, encourage them, and take the blame if something goes wrong. But really, all the credit goes to
Welcome to our world.
That's not like Christian, does it?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Derek.
Best wishes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Derek, for everything.
You do have a countywide comprehensive plan that's going to be kicking off next year. You have a great team for that. The past national president of American Planning Association is actually on that team, so I encourage you all to participate, and it would definitely help you for your 10, 15, 20-year planning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Derek.
There being no further business,
Mr. President.
recess.
We want to say Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bhavan Natali.
One way or the other, that was a good conversation.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
It was.
The chatham. We should have been having this conversation.
It should have been.